immediate and complete reports of local blood and guts.
What happened was true. The most bizarre and brutal series of crimes
It's unfathomable to me that a human could treat an animal like that.
A rural property on the outskirts of Darwin where sinister events have left a trail of horror. Adam Britton, a world-renowned crocodile expert, now exposed. Hidden from view in a shipping container on his property he called his torture room, Britton filmed himself raping and killing dozens of dogs, including puppies.
Zoosadism is a sexual pleasure derived from cruelty to animals. It is a paraphilia where people are sexually aroused by torturing animals, often to death. Zoosadism is a part of the McDonald triad, a set of 3 behaviors that have been considered a precursor to psychopathic behavior. The McDonald triad is animal cruelty, bedwetting, and pyromania. Zoosadism is one of the most evil and disgusting paraphilias to exist, taking the already revolting and cruel act of bestiality and adding unimaginable violence upon a victim who cannot cry for help or tell others. Zoosadism almost exclusively ends with the death of the subject, as these monsters can create a true snuff film with an animal, as these crimes are rarely being prosecuted. A snuff film being defined as an act of sexual violence resulting in the murder of the subject on film. Tim Wynn, or Timothy Amoroso, is one of the most infamous zoosadists who is still free to this day, freely taking credit for creating some of the most evil and disturbing pieces of media to ever be published online. Old Number 7, Batfuck, Cokie, Gushy, and others. Extreme and near cartoonishly evil in context, these types of media almost exclusively include dogs or multiple dogs. But why? The psychological connection of man's best friend goes very deep. That's why. Cats are also kindred to us as well. However, dogs have a place in human history that is distinguishably different in its own right. And while zoosadism doesn't often discriminate on what kind of animals that they involve themselves with, dogs are by far the most popular subjects. And while cats aren't for everybody, you can genuinely tell a person's character by their thoughts on our canine friends, at least in my own opinion. Dogs are so beloved by humans, especially in the United States. They take just as much importance as their human counterparts in most cases. So the act of taking a puppy and sexually abusing it to the point of death is the equivalent of killing a human baby to some extent to those imbibed in this sort of material and crimes. Where the boundaries of morbid curiosity are crossed is when a person is becoming aroused by the material they seek. And when said content steps into more and more depraved and often illegal territory, animal cruelty is an ever-popular and exceedingly common form of gore media. And zoosadism is the hurtcore equivalent, in which up until recently was entirely legal to view and possess in the United States, covered by the same freedom of media and speech laws in which gore is protected by. Seldom said, zoosadism should have been illegal from the start with no legal argument for a gray area. And just like any other gore or really anything else extreme, some incidences and people just stand out. Aside from Tim Wynn, another previously unknown man was recently arrested to his connection to one of the most brutal and infamous zoosadism videos that originated from trade-only collections via the dark web. Adam Britton was born in 1971 in Wakefield, West Yorkshire, England, where he would graduate with a Bachelor's of Science degree in zoology in 1992 from the University of Leeds. Britton is a complex case with little info on his upbringing. However, it was noted that Britton has had a sadistic and disturbing sexual attraction to animals since he was a child. He would begin sexually violating horses and torturing animals at the age of 13. He would later earn a PhD in zoology from the University of Bristol in 1996, then move to Australia to begin a career in wildlife research, where he would meet his wife, who was a wildlife ranger and biologist. They set up a consultancy business dealing with wild crocodiles, where Britton would gain a reputation via his work as a crocodile expert. He swam with the apex predators in the wild and lent his pet crocodile Smog to countless films and documentaries, and even hosted Sir David Attenborough at his home in Darwin, Australia, all while preaching the need for greater respect for the creatures themselves and nature as a whole. In the mid-1990s, Britton would end up on the dusty plains of the Northern Territory, or the NT, home to the biggest saltwater crocodile population on the planet, where he could fulfill his dream. There, Graham Webb, a pioneer in the field, took the very enthusiastic young Britton under his wing at Crocodilus Park, a small zoo and research facility, where Britton gravitated towards filming projects but also took part in research, including a 2005 study on the potent antibiotic powers of crocodile blood, which made global headlines. Then later took on a research role at Charles Darwin University. To say the least, Adam Britton had worldwide fame, even with associations to the royal family of the United Kingdom. Various documentaries and interviews, BBC spotlights, and so much more. Adam Britton on the surface would become sort of an icon in zoology and animal studies in general. Little did everyone know about the monster that lurked beneath this facade of an animal-loving, adventurous researcher. By 2008, Britton would have already been exploiting and torturing his own dogs that he supposedly loved so dearly, and would manipulate other dog owners into giving him theirs. He would post online on the Australian marketplace Gumtree and find people who were often reluctantly giving their pets away and promised to provide a good home, often exploiting his research accolades and his high education in zoology. If anyone reached out for updates, he would tell them false narratives and send them old photos. Most of the time, the dogs were already dead, having experienced indescribable suffering inside a shipping container fitted out with recording equipment, which Britton called his torture room. It's unknown exactly how many zoo sadist media pieces Britton created, but one in particular would gain notoriety on the dark web among other zoo sadists. A titled video which allegedly was so hard to obtain at the time and was considered trade only until it was leaked to the surface web. This caused internet sleuths to open threads and try to find the culprit. But this video wasn't just a single video. It was a series of about 10. A video series called One Bitch, 9 Pups. Video recorded outside in the woods. A series of clips so horrific, if it were not confirmed to be real, I wouldn't believe it was. An acting detective senior sergeant on the case named John Beer had this to say about it. The contents of the videos are abhorrent. If members of the public came across the material, they would be revolted. It is incomprehensible that an individual could imagine such acts, let alone carry them out. The depravity is deeply disturbing. The series shows a naked Britton, his face obscured off-screen as he presents a mother pit bull whom is bound with tape at the mouth and paws, with her own pups. The series concept details the torture and slaughter of each of the pups in front of their mother, and eventually the torture of the mother dog as well until death. Britton picks up the first pup and places it onto the log, then uses a drill hammer to damage its skull. The second puppy is on the same log, and he saws his body in half with a hacksaw. The third is back on the log, stomps on it several times, and sits awkwardly on it with his bare ass, rubbing the nearly dead or possibly dead pup with his testicles, masturbating. He finishes and puts the pup in the dog's mouth and shuts her muzzle, imitating this chewing. The fourth pup dies via stabbing in the rectum, while its mother licks it. The fifth pup is killed via a stab wound in the mouth. The sixth is cut by the genitalia, thrown to the mother to have her wounds licked as Britton masturbates. The seventh one is disemboweled with a knife. The eighth, Britton uses his hands to kill the pup, and beats the mother dog with it, and whips it against the log violently, like a rag. And the ninth pup, Britton takes his time breaking its limbs with his hands, disembowels it with a knife. He then decapitates the puppy with a saw and ejaculates on its head. And in the final victim, the mother dog, Britton urinates on the dog's mouth and head, immobilizes it with duct tape around her muzzle and ankles, wrists, then ties her to the dead tree with a leash before beating her in several ways. He then removes the duct tape from the dog, places 3 dead pups in a cut hole in the dog's body while she's still alive, before beginning to beat her to death. In all of the videos, Britton is completely silent, and his face is never shown on screen, obscuring his identity. The footage of the killings had a high resolution, and some of the video clips had a few scenes skipping out, implying that some of the animals were likely tortured longer than what was recorded, and that Adam Britton took his time editing the series down. I have read that this is actually common with child exploitation material as well. Thus, things like Daisy's Destruction, for example, were sold in multiple clips, very small parts, mostly for compression reasons. Throughout One Bitch, Nine Pups, Britton murders the animals one by one in several unimaginable heinous ways, to which the mother dog shows no reaction. And besides being forced to eat some of her pups' remains, she licked their serious wounds and exposed innards, even while they were still alive. The poor thing possibly thought she was trying to save her aunt. The poor thing probably thought she was saving her babies. And apparently, One Bitch, Nine Pups is not the only video series Adam Britton has produced. Several more animal murder videos were discovered on Adam's Telegram account, although none of them were shared outside of Telegram, and were supposedly lost and deleted along with the account. Most of the videos were basically short footage of clips of the man humiliating and occasionally feeding some of the body parts and remains of his previous victims to the new ones. Britton uploaded likely a total of 17 videos. The remaining known footage include videos such as Luna, a video that contained footage of a gray pit bull who was possibly named Luna due to the video's title, 22 seconds in length, and showed Britton poking the bleeding pit bull in the eye with a knife. It is said that this video is recorded long after the One Bitch, Nine Pups series. Piss dogs. Footage of a man urinating on the 2 dogs before beating them, though the dog's fate and where the footage took place remain unknown. Ball boy beating. A video that was divided into 2 parts, where Britton beats 2 male dogs in the testicles before killing them. Blade rape. A video clip of Britton abusing a dog with a razor. 2 bitches. A video of Britton killing 2 more dogs. Penis rip. As you can guess by the description, Britton rips off a male dog's genitals in this one. And one more called Hung and Gutted. A video of Britton strangling, hanging, and disemboweling 2 dogs. Furthermore, Britton possessed a ton of heavily graphic photos on his devices, and apparently child exploitation material. And he uploaded most of his collection to his Telegram account. Most of his photos contain roasted dog genitalia and meat, along with a basket filled with the corpses of dogs he killed. It is known that he fed his victims to his past victims to his next. But there's also implications that he also possibly engaged in eating some of the dogs himself. This happened to some, if not all, of the dogs he killed. There is also a meme image of him with his penis in a severed canine head, with the caption that read, "When your dog has something stuck in its mouth and you're trying to get it out." A truly depraved and sadistic monster. Initially, with the exception of suspicions from internet sleuths, the identity of who created these videos was widely unknown, outside of the frequently used screen name, Cerberus, that Britton used to publish his horrific crimes under. An arrest was made in September of 2022 linked to these videos. However, the identity of the suspect was sealed until Britton pled guilty in 2023. On September 25th of 2023, Britton faced 60 charges which related to child abuse material as well as zoo sadism, to which he pleaded guilty. And on August 8th of 2024, Adam Britton was sentenced to 10 years and 5 months in prison with a non-parole period of 6 years. A paltry sentence for such a depraved creature. A monster for whom the judge agreed would still have racked up his count if not caught. He surely doesn't deserve such a light-handed sentence. He deserves far worse that I simply cannot say on YouTube. Adam Britton was among the worst, but we all know that there's many more like him, and there's most certainly always a bigger fish. But for now, find solace that he is behind bars, and perhaps will meet a fate worse than he's inflicted upon others for what he's done. Thank you all for watching. This video is not monetized, and I do not make money off my videos unless you support me via my premium pages located in the description below. There you can talk to me daily, give me one-off gifts, get merch discounts, access over 20 hours of exclusive videos, over 30 deleted videos that were just removed from YouTube, exclusive documentary series, sneak peeks, and so much more. You can also find my Instagram and follow me there, as well as all my other social media posted. This is one of those videos that makes me want to pet my cats. Unfortunately, because we lost our home, I will not be able to see them until we are into a different one. So do me a favor, pet your pets for me, show them some love. And again, thank you for watching. And remember, if it bleeds, it leads.
In the beginning, we explored the macabre and what we thought was the most shocking in our world.
Skies are gray, when 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 skies are gray.
A stark public warning in British Columbia tonight over a notorious pedophile
on the shooting attacks on 2 mosques in the New Zealand city of Christchurch.
Terrible to describe. Now walk me through that. What was going on in your mind?
Peter Scully was on the run for 4 years, considered Australia's most evil predator.
Well, as you can see, the parts of the building have collapsed. The fire has indeed engulfed the vast majority of this compound.
Christopher Neal made international headlines a decade ago after police in Europe used software to unswirl this image and hundreds more of a man engaged in sex acts with young boys in Asia.
not gonna talk to you except for me.
Do you feel blame? Are you mad? Do you feel like Wolves Kebab's right friends? Get friends,